Top 5 is the show of everything. Top 5 is presented by The Sex Effects. I'm Joey Parati.
And I'm Sean Day.
And folks, do we have just a show full of detection and action and comic relief? We're going to be talking about DC Comics, but before we get to all that, Jonathan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing okay, man. Started back at work this week, so it's been interesting coming back, especially as the pandemic is still continuing. But it's been, good to be back and, not working too much, but, it's kind of cool to get back to some normalcy in my life, I guess. But yeah, just excited to be back at work and just kind of having a chill week so far. But nothing much really happening at the moment. So yeah, I'm doing okay.
I love it.
How you doing this week, Joey?
I'm good, man. Me and the lady I've been seeing, we went, took a road trip. We left Thursday night, went up, stayed in Reading, and then got on the road early the next morning, Friday, and we stopped in Mount Shasta. It was our first place, got breakfast at a place called Lily's Cafe. Highly recommend.
Ooh, okay.
And then hit Klamath Falls, then Crater Lake, and then went on through to Eugene, Oregon. I've never been that far north. I've never been to Oregon. Did not realize that we were entering into Trump country, Trumptree, as I call it. So that was kind of interesting, just to see, like, whoa, that's right, not in the city no more. And yeah, it was fun. It was relaxing. Stayed on this giant property. One of the first days there, we went in town. We each got a couple graphic novels and just sat on the porch and drank a beer and wine and listened to music and read, which was lovely. It was lovely. Yeah, had a few good dinners. I tried oysters for the first time. I tried ahi tuna for the first time. Who am I? I'm a different person. And yeah, and then took a 11 mile hike. Near this place called the Cottage Grove. Oh man, it was wild. And then jumped into a creek at the end of it. We're like, cool. Well, we came all this way, we got to jump in. So just jumped into the creek. So that was fun. And then yeah, had a great time. Drove all the way back in one straight shot. Stopped in Mount Shasta.
How long's the drive again, Joey? From
almost 9 hours.
Yeah,
so it was, but we took her new car, this Volkswagen Golf, and it was wild, man. The thing can park itself. It has lane assist, so if I'm trying to get over and someone is close to me, the steering will go, fuck you, no, and it'll go back into the lane.
Oh, crazy.
Like, you can literally take off your hands and the thing will steer itself for a little bit before telling you, put your hands back on the wheel, idiot. Yeah. So it was cool. It was fun. And yeah, just been, trying to get back and didn't realize how much I needed a couple days away. And, it's pretty crazy.
It's awesome. And that's your first time in Oregon, too.
Crazy. Right? First time that far north. I don't think I've been past Eureka before. On me and my brother's failed attempt to get to Oregon one fateful Thanksgiving Eve. Drove all the way. I had opened that morning at Pete's. So I started work at 4:30 that morning, drove from Monterey at 9, got to the city probably around 10:30. Me and Matt drove all day. We got to Eureka, and so bad that they turned us around, and we had to drive all the way back in the same day. And then I met you and your father for drinks at Malloy's. So that was I'll never forget that day. But yeah, so that's been me, man. It's been good. It's been very good.
That's super cool, man.
Yeah. Didn't have cell service for days, which is crazy.
That's got to be nice, though. Yeah. Especially like really during this time, being able to take like a trip like that and just kind of escape for a little bit.
Yeah. Definitely got looks from a few people because we were wearing masks.
What?
Oh yeah.
Man.
It's crazy.
Blows my mind.
So yeah.
People are interesting.
People are a bit nutty. But yeah, man. But while I was away over this weekend, DC Warner Brothers held DC Fandome. and we got a lot of different trailers, and I've watched, I think, all the ones that matter as far as I know. Um, but yeah, so I didn't have any cell service, but I did have Wi-Fi, so I've watched a certain trailer that we'll dive deep into. We'll save that for the last of covering this thing. And yeah, so DC had their fan event. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
I did not, but I knew it was happening because I was listening to like Kevin Smith's podcasts, and yeah, they of course they're mentioning it. Oh my god, I got all the cats coming at me.
Hello, cats.
Hello, cats. Yeah, I didn't get a chance to watch it. I knew it was going on and it was a free event, so anyone can kind of join. But I don't know. I think I was just doing something, and I was like, well, these trailers are gonna end up on the YouTube or something eventually, which
Yeah,
is where I usually tend to go to by the end of my night, just kind of YouTube or whatever. But
perfect.
yeah, I think it's really cool that they were able to kind of obviously showcase kind of what's coming in the DC universe, and as a free event to kind of get some hype around stuff, and kind of talking to a lot of the directors and cast members. And I guess since they didn't really have like Comic-Con, well, I guess they had the virtual Comic-Con, but
Yeah,
I think they're especially companies like these DC and the movies, I think they're trying to really um, again kind of centralize, especially with, I think DC has like their own streaming service too, right? I believe kind of
that's going away. That's going away.
that's going away.
When they did the big layoffs, everyone at DC Universe app, I think, was laid off. So that everything
Gotcha.
will be ported over to HBO Max. I don't know about the comics, which that service does.
Yeah.
You can apparently read, has access to a bunch of comics in DC's vault, but I believe all the shows and all of that stuff is going to go over to HBO Max.
Man,
So, which makes
interesting.
sense. It's HBO Max is I think it's a very poor um it's a marketing thing. It's terrible. And like, because I see the HBO Max thing on my Apple TV and I don't think HBO because it's purple. When I think HBO, I think black with the silver text. Um, and also the name HBO Max, I don't think about Warner Brothers Vault. I don't think about Friends. I don't think about DC. I don't think about, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
Having it
don't think about
under.
Turner Classic Movies. Call it the Warner Brothers app or something, or Warner Brothers Entertainment. That's more all encompassing. At least I think.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
And
something
there's
different.
and I don't
But
think they
this
have.
is bad branding.
Yeah, I have HBO Max, and it's like, yeah, not all the DC stuff's on there, so that's why I
No,
was
it's
a
not.
little disappointed with that. But yeah, I mean, I guess for the fandom, DC fandom, yeah, seeing all the trailers and stuff, piqued my interest. I guess it's I'm just kind of curious. We've talked about DC in past episodes, and we have a love. I would say a hate thing for DC, but you know,
No, I wouldn't. I
like a
mean,
love hate thing. Like I think it's
you
like
know,
I enjoy the entertainment of the movies, and you know, uh, I'm not a comic book reader by heart, so like I know, and you have such a connection with like Batman and that
yeah.
kind of character too, and it's piqued my interest. There's few things, and it's weird because it's like this was their chance to really kind of be like, hey, we're kind of going with these stories and these movies and these certain things. This is what DC's gonna be like in the next, kind of like standing their ground, or like kind of letting everyone know like this is what to prepare for, and here's who we've brought on for these projects. So it's interesting to get that. And when we talk about DC, I always feel like it's just like, or especially the movies, I guess it's just like the vision is not so clear with a lot of that, what's going on with those movies.
At least it
um
wasn't. It might be now,
yeah,
but
and maybe this might be
holding on
the
to those ones from the past generation is making me like, well, I don't want what you have to offer.
and that's the feeling I got, and that's where I was surprised. I know that some of the news probably broke, like the Suicide Squad thing, that like I think Suicide Squad like having a different director, James Gunn, and
James
but
Gunn, yeah.
having
The
like
Suicide Squad.
a
Did you
mixture
see
of the
that
same
trailer?
cast. I don't think I did. I think I
Oh man.
saw.
I
I
mean,
think I did see it.
it's not really a trailer. It's more of behind the scenes footage plus each character gets their own little hooah, like, and then
Yeah,
the actor playing them. So it's got a shit ton of characters. I
yeah.
couldn't believe how many
I'm a
characters are
little,
in this movie.
I'm a little worried about that.
Uh,
Um,
I think it's going to be, if nothing else, even if it's terrible, it's going to be more fun than
Then
David Ayer's Suicide Squad. So I'll check it out. I think the costumes look ridiculous. Um, I get that they're going for faithful, but Hollywood has this thing where they got to put these actors in molded rubber suits, and I don't get it. Like in the comics, what they're wearing is cloth. I mean, it may be like dipped in, you know, a triple bi-weave of Kevlar or something,
yeah,
but it looks like cloth on the page. You know what I mean? Batman's outfit doesn't have built-in muscles. That's ridiculous. So when people are like, "Oh, Affleck's Batman was the closest," no, not really. Dead End is absolutely the closest thing we've ever had in
oh
live action
man,
form, but that was
Dead
just a
End.
fan film.
Fan
Whew,
films,
you
yeah,
know?
deliver sometimes. Yeah,
If you haven't checked it out, Batman Dead End, people,
I gotta
it's
rewatch
real.
that
It's
one.
out there. Sandy Calora. Um, but yeah, so that was you know what? Idris Elba's in it. I'm here for it. There's a lot of talent in that movie. It'll be fun. There's lots of color. I'm gonna check that out. It's you wouldn't see that at Marvel. I don't think.
Yeah,
People go,
right.
well, Thor Ragnarok. I think Thor Ragnarok, like, yes, they took chances within the Marvel. It never felt like they were, you know what I mean? I don't know. It still felt
Yeah,
safe. It still
it's
felt
still yeah, it
samey.
still has to connect, and yeah,
Yeah.
there's certain things that you have
Um,
to kind of abide to. Um,
um, but let's
yeah,
see what else. What else we get? We got Suicide Squad.
Suicide
We got
Squad,
Wonder Woman 1984. Did you watch that
1984.
trailer?
Yeah, yeah, piqued my interest
What you
too.
think? Yeah.
But see, I have the same feeling that you were saying. It's just like I initially thought that like DC was done with this. I knew the Wonder Woman movie was like going to be. I thought that was going to be like the last of that, like Justice League or those characters in that
They're
pocket.
they're
So
keeping what worked. Wonder Woman worked. Aquaman
yeah,
made over $1 billion. It worked. So they're keeping it, but they're not beholden to the previous continuity.
yeah,
So they can ignore Justice League if they want to. They can ignore BVS if they want to, but they're going to keep those actors in these iterations of these characters.
yeah.
So
That makes, I
yeah,
mean, the money
it's
pops
it's
for
a
sure.
but it's a weird kind of, because you have, you know, those characters here, and you've got Pattinson here, and you've got the Flash movie over here, and it's like it's all over the place. Let's talk about
Yeah,
the Flash for a second.
yeah, yeah.
So this was a big. So we already got the news that Keaton was coming back to a Flash movie. Hate it. Um, but over the weekend we got word that Batfleck,
Batfleck.
is coming back for this movie as well. My brain just hurt. It's just
Yeah, I'm not
what?
sure what they're trying to do there. Because I'm sure this Flashpoint movie or whatever is going to be, it's going to be it's going to be a different adaptation of it. I don't think they're going to go from what I saw the animated version of the Flashpoint, like where
Oh
they had
yeah,
like Bruce's father is like Batman, right, and like
right.
that kind of like those little subtle changes, but it still revolves around like the Flash and his whole thing and his rivalry with Reverse Flash. But and I don't mind that, like for a movie, you don't have to do it like, oh, this is how it was in the comics, or like like word for word or whatever. Like I like having the adaptations because it's cool. It's their take on it.
Well, and
Um,
you can kind of do the ultimate version of that thing. Like
yeah,
if you
exactly.
read
Yeah,
Civil War, the comic book, it's nothing like Civil War, the movie, but it works in context of the MCU. So you
yeah,
know what I mean? You can borrow, you can cherry pick scenes and moments that you want. Go on. Sorry.
yeah. No, the Batfleck news, I was like, I thought he was so done being Batman apparently, and then now he's in it,
Yeah.
which makes me question. There's two Batmans in this, or Michael Keaton come back and Ben Affleck. So where is that going to go with the story? Is there going to be there's obviously the multiverse kind of thing that they're talking about, right? And that's been in there before, and they've even tied it with some of the Flash TV show, and like how they had Ezra Miller's character Flash, Barry Allen, meet him in the show. So like,
Let's talk about Ezra Miller for a second.
yeah, that too. That whole
What
controversial
the fuck, Warner
thing with that.
Brothers?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
This dude choked a woman to the ground. Um, we've canceled people for a lot less. People, like,
Yeah.
why is this dude? I don't want to watch a movie about a hero starring this guy.
Yeah.
You know, I
I
don't
feel
I
you.
don't understand the logic here. When we're so beholden to cancel culture, why are we not canceling this dude? This is a dude that kind of deserves to be canceled, in my opinion. Um, it's pretty weird. It's a pretty
It is.
weird
Yeah, it is
choice.
weird. Like,
It's
yeah.
not a great actor to hang your franchise on, even
Yes.
without the choking. Like, he's never felt like Barry Allen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
I've seen interviews with him
weird.
for like The Flash, and he's a fan of it. Like, I can see how passionate is he about like The Flash, but yeah, it's
I'm
really
suspect
interesting.
about that though. I mean, if you're getting paid millions of dollars to play a character, I'd be a fan of that fucking character too. You know what I mean? And then the producers or whoever go, here, read this comic book and talk about it on the press. Yeah, no, I read Flashpoint. I really liked it. Like that shit happens all the time. Like Affleck was actually a Batman fan, which is why I'm appalled and can't believe that he allowed his character to kill so vigorously on screen. Um, but a lot of Hollywood people aren't fans. They've never heard of the characters. Like, Hugh Jackman didn't know Wolverine. Uh, like he knew him as like an icon, but he didn't know the character of Wolverine before he signed on. And then after playing the character for 20 years, he's read all the books. He has his own fandom with the character, and But for the most part, these actors don't know. They don't know these characters. I don't know. I'm ranting. I'm
It's all good, man.
getting
Well,
angry.
yeah, I think the bar is definitely
My
set pretty high for a lot of
forehead vein
these.
is popping.
Yeah, the bar's set pretty high, man, for a lot of these movies, and the fandom event, like it did pique my interest, or at least the trailers and the press and all that kind of stuff from it. A lot of people are covering this thing this week, or just from
Yeah.
so it's all over my YouTube feed. Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know, and I know we're going to talk about probably the best trailer I
Well,
think out
we
of
got
the
we got a
bunch.
few more to
We
get
got a few
through. We
more,
got a few
yeah.
more to get through. Let's talk about the Snyder Cut, and then we'll talk about the two game trailers, and then we'll get to the one that we're eagerly anticipating. I am. Um, so we got the Snyder Cut trailer. Snyder Cut is here, and I thought it was Eric. I mean, okay, look, yes, we can acknowledge all reports. Zack Snyder apparently is a very nice guy. I believe that. I believe he's a good dude. He fundamentally does not understand these characters. He fundamentally doesn't understand what he can do aesthetics, I guess. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be even in this, but the opening shot of the trailer is a very PS2 looking Dark Side. Um, obviously the CG is not finished yet, but like, and then to play Hallelujah over the trailer. Like, are you saying Hallelujah? The Snyder Cut is here. Are you that arrogant? Is he that arrogant? I think he is. Seeing his social media interactions with people, I think he is that arrogant. But nice guy. Everything I've heard is he's a very nice guy. But I do think he's arrogant, and he doesn't have the wits to back it up. The trailer, it felt like most of what we'd seen from the original trailers before he was fired off the movie, right?
Yeah.
Um, it still looks like a Justice League movie. Like, I wasn't stoked on this thing before he was fired from it. I wasn't stoked on this thing after he was fired from it. It looks like, okay, you put back in the original takes that Whedon reshot. Okay. Uh, we didn't get much new. The only new thing I can think of is the Dark Side shot.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that even a take? I didn't
I
like it before. I don't like it now. That's my take. That's my
Yeah.
take.
I have a similar feeling about it. I don't think like, yeah, I'll watch it, and be interesting to see like this cut of the film. I just want to see it just to see how different it is from the other one.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like and even right there, like it's great. Like the movies, like they're able to deliver this. I mean, that's pretty crazy. Like to deliver this full film, to weirdly like kind of blatantly be like, yeah, like the movie we made or released, I guess, didn't really hit a lot of the expectations a lot of people were thinking of the movie. So part of me is like, I'm interested, but again, it's like, is it going to be even as good? Is it going to be good? Like,
Do you think it's gonna be
like
good? Did you think it was gonna be good before you got fired off the movie?
I honestly don't think it's going to be good because no matter how many extra scenes you can add in there, or like, give us that intended, the stuff that we were expecting from the Justice League with the like Superman black suit and all that kind of stuff. Like, I just don't think it's going to satisfy that. Like, oh, this is so great. Like this is, or it might be. I mean, it could be better as far as like a better watch than like compared to the original one when it got released. I mean, you could compare the both, the two, I guess. But
Yeah, that'll be fun.
I just don't. Yeah, I just don't really. I don't know. Like for me, when Justice League didn't like, it seemed like it didn't do so well. At the box office. So I'm not really sure how the box office was, but
It
like,
made the least amount of any of the DC movies.
yeah, and like,
You had all those characters together, made the least amount.
yeah, and I don't know. Like, I just thought it was like dead on arrival. Like, I think
Mm-hmm.
this isn't working. So no matter what cut of the movie it is, it's just like this is just too. Maybe it's just too soon for this kind of thing. And but a lot of
Well,
people
it's
are.
interesting. We won't be able to compare box office results, right?
Oh yeah,
Because
you're right.
that'd be very interesting.
And it's
Because we're
very
not going to really know if this was a success or not. Because art can be judged subjectively, but you can't really. You know what I mean? You
yeah,
can point to the box office and be like, Justice League was, a box office failure.
yeah,
People did not go and waste their time with this movie. This is going to be streaming for free. Or I mean, if you already have the service, right? So, uh, you know what I mean? Like that's.
yeah. And because
Yeah,
because I pay for was it HBO Now like every month, like I don't mind. I'll watch it. Be if
sure.
it's on there.
Yeah, I'm
I
gonna
don't know.
watch it.
I don't believe the hype. Like I don't
Don't
know.
believe that.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. The Justice League movie was shit, and if you add more stuff to it to try to make it less shit, I just don't think it's gonna work.
I don't think it's gonna work either, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and there's like probably like visual things that can change and like those kind of things. Like um, I think what I noticed with I don't know if it was like the third act. Remember in the original Justice League movie, it was like this
yeah.
red
I try not
color.
to. Yeah, yeah.
So I think they took that out, which but that's a visual thing. It's like
Well, it's
yeah,
all fucking green screen anyway. They can do whatever the fuck they want,
yeah.
in different cuts of the movie.
Uh,
Um,
so this movie, like they're throwing money at this movie still, right? To get
they're
the rest of the
throwing
movie.
a lot of fucking money at this movie. They're like,
Interesting.
I forget it was
Yeah.
like $65 million or something like that. Like it ain't, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Even to recut the footage and all
well,
that
because
stuff. So
the visual effects weren't done,
that's right.
and then like 50 to 75% of the film was reshot. And then Snyder's like, yeah, my version of the film is like 4.5 hours long. Well, there's your fucking problem, dude. Learn to tell a story in a theatrical release. You know, this should have. Oh well, my real version of the movies could come out on the director's cut, like, or the DVD. Like, fuck you, man. Like, not fuck you. Like, I just don't agree with that. I don't
Oh
fucking
yeah.
agree with that. I'm a big Scorsese fan. My dog's named Martin Scorsese, but he's always like, no, the version of the film that you put your name on is the one that comes out in theaters. That is your film. You made that under those circumstances with that budget at that time. That's the fucking movie. That's why Scorsese does not put out director's cuts. He's like, you want to see my director's cut? Go to the theater.
Yeah. Go to the
You
theater, watch.
you get the movie as you tell the story in the best way that you can in the time that you're allotted, in the parameters that you're given, and that's that. And so I don't know. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Snyder Cut, folks. Cheers to the Snyhards,
The
I guess.
Snyhards, yeah.
That's what I call him.
Those
But
diehard fans out there.
fuck Jay Oliva. Anyway, we got 2 game trailers. Rocksteady released their first game trailer since Arkham Knight released in 2015. So it's been 5 years.
Yeah, quite a bit of time there.
5 years, and we get Suicide Squad kill the Justice League.
Yeah.
Did you see this trailer?
Yes, I did. That was okay.
Thoughts?
No,
It was
okay.
an animatic. It was
Yeah. Wasn't really like
it was a
gameplay.
cutscene.
Yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of gameplay.
Doesn't tell me anything about this game, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to, you know, how it'll play, and that's all I really care about. You know, I can appreciate the experience that a game can give you and the story a game can give you, but for the first and most part, the reason I'm there is to play it and to be in that world. And I don't see any of that in the trailer. I'm not excited for it. And excuse me, I like Harley Quinn, but I don't need her to be the star of the game. You know what I mean? And
yeah, they're really
after
capitalizing on that. Yeah,
after 5 years of waiting for what's the next Rocksteady game going to be, could it be a Superman game? You know,
yeah,
I wouldn't even be mad if they went back to the well with Batman, but a Suicide Squad game with a Suicide Squad movie coming out, it just feels like a tie-in, and it's like that's not what I want from Rocksteady. I mean, maybe this is their wholly original, wonderful idea. Maybe they know how to execute, but we didn't get any glimpse of that in the trailer.
yeah. Yeah, those animatic kind of things they're tricky because as gamers we want to see what what the gameplay is like. How does it feel to play this game? What kind of cool things you can do with the characters or whatnot. And I don't know how far along they are with this game. I don't know if they had said anything about that, but yeah, I mean it could be just like the teaser for this, but I'm not sold until I see gameplay footage. I mean that's pretty much it.
Same, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So not much to go on. Not much to go on. We got a little bit more from the Gotham Knights trailer from
Gotham
W
Knights.
Montreal.
Yep.
They did Arkham Knight, or not Arkham Knight, Arkham Origins, which was really good actually. It didn't play as well as the Rocksteady games, but the story was I thought better than Arkham Knight.
Hey.
It was like playing a Batman Year One in video game form. It was great. It was really cool. I didn't. I'm not stoked for this game though. When I see a Batman game, I want to be able to play as Batman. And hey man, let me play as Robin and Batgirl and Nightwing, and I don't care about Red Hood. I really don't like Jason Todd. I hate they brought him back to life, but neither here nor there. But I want to play as Batman, dude. And the fact,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe you will at some point, but man,
Yeah,
we
that's
waited 5 years from.
that's definitely a missed opportunity there. Cause I mean it is cool, I guess, like for this game, it is cool that you're able to play different characters, and that's what I also
That's
like
great.
about, like previous Batman iterations from like the Arkham series and all those kinds, where you can kind of every now and then switch off and play some of the other characters in that world. And I mean they're really going on like these are the 4 characters that you can like pretty much play intertwined in this kind of story they're going to tell. So it's interesting. Like, yeah, it's tough because I'm curious about like how they're going to incorporate this group and how they're going to interact with each other. Playing as Batwoman, that's a female character too in a video game, but like if it's a Batman game, you gotta have Batman in it, dude.
You gotta have Batman.
Right?
Jesus. Who needs to tell these people how it's done?
The sex
You and me,
effects,
buddy.
man.
Yes. Fuck. But yeah, I mean, no, it looks fine, but it's like this is the game that would have made me go out and buy a PS5 because I want to play as Batman. This I'll wait. I'll be like, all right, I guess I'll wait till the system goes on sale and this game is free because I'm not.
Yeah.
You know.
It's an interesting move for them kind of go that route. Like, I guess with especially like that, I guess going back to Suicide Squad, like they do have a lot of characters that they can, and they've, we've seen them in some of those games, like, and maybe this is their chance to, they're trying to just branch out and just like have, you can play different skill sets and different characters, and kind of like the GTA 5 kind of feel where you're switching between these three characters or whatever, right? And each have a different kind of thing, and so you have to learn how they play out. Kind of similar, I guess, to the Avengers like demo that I was playing last week. Which I still don't know how I feel about that game. I haven't played the demo enough to really tell, but yeah, I mean, I could see the desire to like check out a Batman universe type game where there's other characters that you can kind of get, maybe some people just like Nightwing and how he kind of flows or whatever, like, and like that option of like being able to try different people. So I mean, I could see why people can get into this game because of that. But I mean, without Batman, you can't like at least have the option of Batman, and then you could choose any other characters, Right. But I could see what they're trying to do. They're trying to branch out. They're trying to really try different, characters and stuff. So, but I have the same feeling on that one too. I want to see more. If anything, I'll have to just see more gameplay footage and just see if it's even worth checking out. So,
but it looked like a co-op game. It didn't look like the type of game that I.
Yeah. Although I gotta say, since it's done by the WB, like their Montreal, like that division, because I did play a little bit of Origins. I don't think I beat it, but at least they have the look as far as like it looks like it's produced by those guys, like that company, and
it's a little more cartoony, I think.
Which
isn't a bad thing. Not a bad thing. Yeah.
But I always like the design, especially for those like the Arkham series. I love the design in those games and the way they had Batman, in the game and everything. So, yeah.
Yeah, I thought they botched it in Arkham Knight, but I really do like his outfit in the first two games. In the beginning of Arkham Knight.
So dope.
Very cool. Yeah. And then of course we got the trailer I've been itching to talk to you about, my friend. Matt Reeves is the Batman.
Yeah,
finally got to see.
I got a trailer.
Pattinson in action, baby. I've watched this trailer a bunch. I've watched a couple times today. At least he was like, I've never seen you like this before. I've never seen this version of you before. And I was like,
yeah, man.
Because I was like,
this is when it starts, man. Because like
man.
Now this trailer and when the movie releases is that time of just like reading up. I have the same feeling for a lot of stuff.
I cannot wait. I'm trying. Hold on. No volume. No. I want to be able to walk through the entire trailer with you. So I've got it pulled up on my iPad, and we're going to go through it.
Here we go.
But real quick, just let's go through it. And we'll just do our thoughts. Okay. So we start with the red WB logo, very classy WB logo. And we hear the sound of duct tape and the DC logo. And then we get this room and there's a guy laying on the floor and then the guy doing duct tape. And he has a very interesting like mask on. Like it looks almost like duct tape or a hood or something. And then glass is over it. Your thoughts of who this character is?
I'm not really sure. I mean, you might probably know more on the I guess the character roster, but I'm not really sure. It could be just like a victim maybe, or
I mean, who's the guy doing the tape?
The tape. I'm not
sure. Who
do
you think that guy is? Yeah.
I'm not sure.
So it might be our first glimpse at Riddler.
Interesting.
So we're gonna keep going with this trailer, right?
Okay.
So it's duct tape, and then we see that the guy who's on the floor is now duct tape his face, and it says no more lies written across it. Yeah. And then we get Something in the Way by the last track off of Nevermind. That's a deep Nirvana cut.
Very deep Nirvana cut.
Cobain is rolling in his grave right now. It's being used to market a multi-million-dollar IP. Kurt Cobain wouldn't even know what an IP is because we didn't talk like that back then. Hardly use the word franchise. Shit. But yeah, so then we get the shot when that song kicks in. We get this POV shot of the officers looking kind of skeptically, and we're following Jim Gordon, who is played by Jeffrey Wright.
Yeah, Jeffrey Wright.
And he looks phenomenal as Gordon. He looks like
Actually,
Gordon.
yeah, I like that casting with him.
Brilliant casting. Cool. And we're at the crime scene where we just saw Duct Tape Man, and Gordon, is walking around with a flashlight, and then we get these black boots. We get the cape, and then like a little clue that's left for Batman, and it's to the Batman, and we get a shot. Everyone talks about I loved this. I loved seeing Batman in a crime scene surrounded by cops and he's just there. This movie is playing like dour. It looks, the filmography looks like Seven, or the cinematography, excuse me. But like you have to take in the absurdity of Batman being in a crime scene surrounded by cops. Like in the Nolan movies, it would just be him and Gordon by themselves, after all the other cops had left. This is Batman in the middle of a lit room, dude.
Their little secret.
This is wild. This is wild. This is great. I've wanted this. This is our first real clear, good shot of the bat suit. It looks like it's gray and black. So that's cool that we get a gray bat suit. I hate that it's fucking armor. But
yeah,
all right.
I'm starting to warm up to it. Especially seeing like actual footage, like aside from the test footage that we saw, when they released.
I don't think it looks bad. It
doesn't look that bad. And actually, for Robert Pattinson, for his build, like,
it works. Yeah,
it works.
Yeah,
dig it.
Speaking of Pattinson's build, now that we bring that up, because I was watching Nerdrotic. I like Nerdrotic. It's Gary from the Comic Outpost. I frequented the Comic Outpost all throughout high school, and he was really great to me and my friends at his shop, and learned a lot about fandom from him. And I don't really agree with all of his stuff, or sometimes the way he says things on his show, but he, I watched his trailer reaction. He was like, he should have put on 75 pounds. And I'm just like, hey man, like the Neil Adams Batman. This basically is Neil Adams Batman. Neil Adams Batman is like a gymnast or a Olympian. He's not the Frank Miller, which didn't really come about till 1986, right? Mm-hmm. Batman was kind of lithe and kind of,
yeah.
So I get it and I don't get it. You know what I mean? I'm fine with this. So let's see. We're at a press conference or something. I'm guessing that's probably a corrupt commissioner. We get a close up on bearded guy. And then we see Pattinson with guyliner.
Yeah.
With guyliner. And he puts on a motorcycle helmet. It's interesting. We haven't seen that before. Bruce Wayne with guyliner. I don't know how I feel about this.
You know what it reminds me of? I don't know if has it been done in the other Batman movies, but I know they used to do that with like Clooney, right? Where they black out his eyes.
Do it with every single Batman,
but they never
show it.
Yeah,
it's part of the costume, and if you're not paying attention to it, it's pretty seamless. Actually, it's amazing how it blends in and you don't think about it. Bale had the raccoon eyes, but he never let on-set photographers take any pictures of him with the eyes. Yeah, but usually when Batman takes his mask off in a movie, they cut and then cut to him without the eyes on and finishing taking off. It's just,
I don't know. I kind of dig that, honestly. Like you could,
it's something new. Where else can you go at this point?
Something new. I guess this is like an earlier Batman, so maybe that's like his thing. Like, I don't know. I hate to say this word, but like
Go for it.
makes it more I don't know, grounded, like real. Like
Yeah,
if a dude dressed up in
absolutely.
a suit like this, I mean, and you don't want him to see his eyes or whatever, or like
I
you're gonna have to
wonder
do
if this
that.
leads to maybe he needs to invent like the white lenses. That's super fanboy theory. That's not going to
Ooh,
happen in this movie. But what if he's like, I don't have time to put on the guy liner, or I left my guy liner at home. I can't put on my Batman mask, and creates the white lenses. Maybe
that's
not. Probably
would
that's not
be
going to
the
happen.
dopest thing to happen. I mean, I don't know. That's
Well,
super
it
cool.
would and it wouldn't. It
Yeah,
wouldn't
yeah.
work in live action. We need to see the actor's eyes.
I mean, yeah.
But
Get a feeling out of that. Yeah.
yeah.
Man.
Anyway, we're a minute into this trailer. He's riding his motorcycle through a cemetery. I'm guessing it's Wayne Manor. Into the Batcave. Batcave, we got a decent look at the Batcave. It looks more put together than it ever did in the Nolan movies. It's certainly not the what Affleck had, which was a fully kind of, but his didn't even look like a cave.
Yeah.
Affleck's, it just kind of looked like a,
Like an
it
underground,
was a layer.
yeah, underground layer, underground
Yeah.
condo. Like,
So Pattinson's Batcave, it looks like a cave. You know, I like that we get the grand staircase. It looks like some. I was watching some YouTube video, and they're like, it looks like it's in an abandoned train station.
oh, interesting.
Um,
Okay.
very interesting. So let's see. He takes off his helmet. What's the next shot? We see him at like a funeral, maybe. He's got terrible. I hate Bruce Wayne hair in this. What the? Who allowed this?
Yeah, and usually Robert Pattinson has quite good hair, or his look, I guess.
I mean, he looks dirty. He just looks fucking dirty. But he looks like a homeless wizard. But so yeah, he saves a kid from getting hit by a car. It looks like at the funeral or something. And then the guy with the bomb, it looks like a bomb is strapped to him, and in the note says "to the Batman." And then Pattinson looking all, but his hair is doing this fucking Peter Parker emo shit from Spider-Man 3 that I don't take it seriously. This is the only thing that I'm really not thrilled with. And you know what? If that's the only thing that I'm really not thrilled with, it's pretty good.
It's pretty cool. That's good. Yeah,
It's
that's
pretty
not
good.
bad. That's not a bad grade. Not too bad.
Not bad. Then we see Catwoman slinking down on a rope from a skylight. Love that.
Super dope. Yeah.
Super dope. She looks like Catwoman. She's doing Catwoman shit, breaking into a safe. And then we get a shot. Did you notice Colin Farrell as
I
the
actually
Penguin?
I did not. So where was this happening? What was the scene? Because it was.
It's
Was
just
it?
a quick
It's a quick scene,
shot.
right?
It's just a quick shot of a penguin, like in the rain, and he looks like Richard Kind. He does not look. I've stared at this image for a very long time, and I cannot tell where Colin Farrell is in this thing.
Wow.
It's insane. Google it. Or are you on your phone? What are you on right now?
Here, I got you. I got you.
Yeah,
Colin Farrell as the Penguin.
Penguin. Yeah,
Man.
wild.
So yeah, I like that though. To especially when the actor kind of disappears into the role, and even if it's like makeup, like prosthetic makeup or something.
Prosthetics. Yeah,
Let's see.
we're not getting Danny DeVito black goo, long john pajama wearing sewer living.
Yo, that was him, man.
That was him, fam.
Oh hell yeah! I am
Yeah,
so for this.
that's a pretty good penguin.
Because
It's a pretty damn good penguin.
Colin Farrell's a good-looking cat. I'm not saying they have to like.
He's
him,
gorgeous.
but I like how they made him like a different, like they made him like a different person, like a different
completely,
look.
completely.
And that
It's
like
insane.
not saying I love seeing like, oh, I like this actor and I like seeing him in this movie or whatever, but like when you do stuff like that and you really and I'm very curious to see how that with the makeup on has like translated with his like acting and like how he's kind of maybe channeled that a little bit more.
I would go so far as to say this is a better job than Gary Oldman as Winston Churchill.
I can see that. Yeah, man, I didn't. Wow, I thought it was just another I didn't know who it was, but I didn't think that was Colin Farrell. I did not even jump to
Pretty
that.
wild.
That is crazy.
Pretty wild. Yeah. So anyway,
It doesn't even
we
look
get a
like
very
him.
nice shot of. It doesn't look like him at all.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah, we got a beautiful shot of Pattinson in the rain. Great. Um, we get a shot of some. They look like Joker thugs. Probably not Joker because Joker's not in this movie. A shot of like the Batman costume in a bag. Batman looks like getting into a scuffle with some cops, and then Gordon's got to like hold him back and be like, "Not here," or something. That's what in my head I hear him be like, "Not here, not now. Don't do this right now." That's just in my head canon. We get Penguin shooting at him, and we get Catwoman and Batman fighting.
Yeah, that shit
in
was
the room
cool.
that she was breaking into the safe. This has got to be the first time that they've ever seen each other, right? The look he gives her, like,
so,
"Who
yeah.
are you?"
Yeah.
I'm
stoked, man.
here for it.
I'm so
here
for it.
I'm here for
Out
Zoe
of all the
Kravitz as
DC
Catwoman.
stuff, I know we've been kind of shitting on some of the other stuff, but like, out of all the DC stuff,
Rightfully,
this is it. This is the movie I want to see. This is the shit I want to see.
Yeah.
Something, and I know we've had other iterations of Batman and stuff like that, like, and we're used to that, but like, I'm excited to see where they can take the Batman character and the story and give us something that we probably haven't seen before, or at least a very unique story. So
I'm excited for it. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
So Batman gets blown back. We're back at the scene where the car rammed in and he saved the child. Batman gets fucking blown back.
Yeah.
Pretty wild. That's a cool shot. They reused the footage of the guy doing the duct tape, who I think might be Riddler, which is interesting. Riddler doesn't usually. Then we get the crown jewel of the trailer, which is some guy going, "Who are you supposed to be?" or something like that. And they got the guys who did the fight choreography for John Wick to do this movie.
Oh, what?
And you can tell Pattinson just bum, 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 bum. And then the guy falls out of camera view to the ground, and he just continues to just bum,
pounding
bum.
him,
And then he goes, "I'm vengeance." And then we get a shot of the it's a gorgeous shot of him in the rain going,
Yeah.
I'm vengeance. What did you think of the Bat voice? That was our first glimpse at the Bat voice.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always like, I never know about with the Bat voice, dude. Like, sometimes, like, I was watching was it Batman Begins the other day, and yeah, I know Christian Bale kind of like he evolved his like voice throughout those like 3 movies or whatever. I just don't. Yeah,
it was perfect in the scene where he takes Rachel back to the cave.
Yeah, because it's it's obviously trying to hide his identity, and he has that personal thing with her. So I get why they have to use it to that degree. Sometimes it's like just to intimidate and whatever. Like, but I don't know. I don't mind it. I feel like I just need to get more. I need more, and I guess the context too of like what's happening, and I guess comparing to like that scene with like Rachel or whatever. But
yeah,
yeah, I am kind of warming up though to this Batman, especially especially Robert Pattinson. Not even seeing seeing this trailer, I'm so on board.
I liked the voice. I'm not gonna lie. I am so happy they didn't go with the Batfleck. The
like the voice changer.
The voice changer. That's Iron Man. Let's not be an Iron Man ripoff. Let's be fucking Batman, dude. Batman doesn't do that.
Yeah,
I mean, he could. Sure, he could.
He could get voice changer somehow.
But Keaton really set the bar that first time out. I think Keaton has the best Batman voice.
Yeah.
Next to Kevin Conroy, who is the Batman.
He's the Batman, dude.
Always. But I thought Pattinson. I thought his voice was it was on the scale between Christian Bale and Keaton.
Yeah. It was a good middle ground for sure.
Yes, absolutely. From the little dialogue that we heard, I think I'm not mad about it. We got a beautiful shot of the new Batmobile and the blue flame coming out the back. it's very reminiscent of like the Neil Adams Batmobile from the 70s,
I was gonna
mixed
ask
with a
you.
bit of the 60s kind of Adam West vibe to it.
Yeah,
It's a muscle car.
it's a muscle car.
Um,
I actually really like that.
I like it too.
And if I guess if this is placed in kind of an earlier Batman, like in his timeline, I guess like it's cool. It's cool. It makes sense, like to kind of evolve the the Batmobile, and maybe this is like this specific year where maybe he made some. Maybe he started out with just the muscle car, and then eventually he was able to kind of work on it. So it
Yeah.
piques my interest. It looks really cool, and it's not as armored or like I love the tank, like
The
the
Tumbler.
the tumbler in the Nolan series. It's a big thing. It's got like all the gadgets and stuff. But it again kind of goes back to like this is like early Batman. Like this is like just him just driving to a crime scene or something, and like I don't know.
Yeah.
It just seems so like he put the shit together himself, or maybe he has some help with some people. But like, yeah, it's very like I like that kind of time of like where Batman is. I'm very curious to to kind of see how that is and how they're gonna kind of use it. But it looks cool. I would definitely get like like if I was into like toy cars or like
I do a
models,
Lego of it.
I would
I
do
think
a
this
Lego.
would be
Yeah.
the perfect Lego Batmobile.
Oh hell yeah, dude.
Yeah. No, I think it looks fine. I do want like I'm tired of seeing Batman beginning. I just want to see prime Batman.
True. Yeah.
Nolan gave us, and apparently Pattinson is a year and a half to 2 years into his crime fighting career when this movie begins. But with Christian Bale, we got, not even his first year, we got like his first week. And then in Dark Knight, he'd only been Batman for like a year and a half. And then he stops being Batman for 8 years. And then we get like a Dark Knight Returns / Nightfall type story. And then with Batfleck, we get kind of a Dark Knight Returns-ish.
Yeah.
But a Batman very much at the end of his career, or at least his physical career. So we still haven't gotten prime
Like
Batman.
yeah.
I mean, we have with Val Kilmer, and sort of with Michael Keaton, and definitely with George Clooney, but never like we haven't gotten a serious or very serious kind of prime Batman movie. So
do you think they're gonna do a origin scene of his parents getting shot again, which we've seen probably every iteration?
Actually,
Batman.
probably.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the problem is that when you reboot the character, you need to establish that scene, and we've reboot him again. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Batfleck had his own, Christian Bale had his own, Keaton had his own, Kilmer had his own. I don't remember if I think Batman and Robin's flashbacks were primarily between Bruce and Alfred, because Alfred is dying in that movie.
Yeah.
But yeah.
If anything, if we get it, I mean, I would at least
want. It's part of it.
It's part of it, and maybe if there is more moments where he can have like this, where he kind of thinks about it. You know what I mean? Like, I always feel like we get shown it like in the movies, and it never really. I mean, there's maybe some moments where they talk about his parents dying or whatever, but like, I don't know. Like, if that's something that really kind of solidified him to become Batman and to like fight crime, if that's such a very, it's a very obviously a tragic situation, but also it kind of kickstarted his, kind of want to be a crime fighter and all that kind of stuff. Like, show me, not, it doesn't have to be very, like in front of your face, you know what I mean? But maybe he has like, I'm hoping like maybe he has moments where he's just like pondering off and like, maybe things he sees in like the crime scenes, if he's going to these crime scenes, maybe it like reminds him of like those things, where you necessarily don't have to give us that scene again, like in its entire played out way, but
in flashes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we need to see how this version of the character reacts to that moment.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the Christian Bale one is very specific to his version of that character, where he wants vengeance or revenge. He goes out and buys a gun. That we've never seen that in a Batman story before.
Yeah.
The Affleck one is different, right? And that informs that version of the character. Um, so I mean, I wouldn't hate it. Um, I'm curious how this version of Batman, does he become Batman the night his parents are murdered, or does he go through a similar thing like Christian Bale's version of the character? Um, one thing I really want to see, one visual we've never gotten in a Batman movie I really want to see, is Batman in costume at the grave of his parents, putting flowers down, or in Crime Alley in the costume,
Wow.
putting flowers down. We've never gotten that. I really want to see that. And as grounded and gritty as this fucking movie looks, it also looks like it's having a lot of fun and being somewhat faithful to some of the source material. So maybe, I don't know. Anyway, we're a minute and 53 into this thing. Batman gets shot in the chest, it looks like. Then it looks like he's rappelling up.
Yep.
Maybe past some cops. Cool. Penguin goes, oh, this guy's crazy. Batman rises up against all the thugs. And then we get the logo. It's red. And the bat behind it, the bat ears on the A. And then we get Pattinson taking off the mask. And he has one like last line between him and Riddler. And then we get a close up of Pattinson's face, and we get a good look at the eyeliner, the guy liner, bat liner. And that's it. That's it. That final shot of Pattinson looked CG to me, but it's not. But yeah, that's the trailer. I'm stoked on it. I like it. I am excited for this movie. I hope it doesn't get pushed back indefinitely because the disease that shall not be named, the virus that shall not be named. I'm sold. I like it a lot. I like it more each time I watch it. I don't think it's better than what I think is maybe the best trailer ever, which is the Dark Knight trailer.
Hell yeah, dude.
But it's good. It's very good. What did you think?
I agree with you, man. Like, I think it's piqued my interest. Obviously, it's the perfect trailer for like, this is our next, this is the next Batman world, and this next Batman. Like, it really, we got was that kind of like test footage, right, of the suit, and we got some of the casting, news and everything like that. So everyone, even fans, put together like what they would look like, and this is very interesting. What kind of story they're trying to go for with this, and it's great to at least have a trailer, even if it is like a 2-minute, a minute and a half, 2-minute trailer. At least we have what's this kind of tone they're trying to go for? What are these characters going to look like? What's Gotham going to be like?
Sure.
All these different iterations of Batman have had different even versions of Gotham and what that would look like. So I am very interested and yeah, I mean, man, not even recognizing Colin Farrell in that photo, I'm freaking sold, man. Like,
right? That's pretty incredible.
I mean,
pretty
Colin
wild.
Farrell's a good looking dude. But if they're trying to go like, this is, we're trying to do this kind of version of Penguin, and yeah, I'm super down for it, man. And you know what? I saw a few like Rob Pattinson's movies. I saw The Lighthouse. I actually ended up watching Twilight. I've seen Twilight.
Seen Twilight.
But I don't know.
It's fun to get fucked up and watch Twilight and talk shit about it.
Well, you know what? This casting, I think I'm down with it, man. I think he can pull it off, and I think with the right direction and story behind it, with a good story behind it, I think it'll be a good movie. And then
I hope so.
We'll see how how it goes, and maybe now I'm curious. They already have a lot of characters in this first film. I think that's my only worry, I guess. But if you can write it and write a very good story where everyone has like their moments to come in and add to what's happening, the conflict or whatever it is. I think that's going to be my biggest judge on this movie is, okay, you've got Penguin, you got Riddler, Catwoman, Batman, and then some of the essential Batman characters, but how are you going to really balance this in a movie? Is it going to be too much? Are you just going to kind of sprinkle it in there? Like with Penguin, is he just going to be kind of a person that maybe his presence is kind of known, but not necessarily he's a villain to Batman just yet in that film? I'm kind of down with that too. And or maybe maybe we get to see the kind of progression of how they become like villains against Batman, and like maybe their kind of beef with him. And I like that. I think that'd be really cool. This is all speculating, but like I think that's kind of the main thing. I'm really curious to see how they're going to weave the story, especially if they're bringing in these other characters.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We will see. We'll see come October 2021.
We will see.
Can't wait. Really can't wait.
Sorry, guys. My cats are just...
That's okay.
Right. Hey, buddy.
So we've been talking for some time now, but we do have some lists.
We do.
You want to get to that portion of the program, Jonathan?
Yeah. And actually, I think your top 5 tonight kind of is a good segue.
All right. So thinking about the Batman movie got me thinking about, man, what other directors would I love to see tackle Batman? So Jonathan, what are the top 5 directors you would like to see tackle Batman someday?
Man,
Batman.
It's kind of an interesting list I got here. I just kind of go off the merits of just like how some of them have handled movies, and I think the visuals and stuff like that, but also character as well. So I've got number 5. I've got Jon Favreau.
Ooh.
I know he's pretty much the Disney. He's like one of the head Disney guys. I mean, he's just directing thing after
He's
thing.
also Obama's speechwriter.
What?
No.
I was like,
Obama does have a speechwriter named Jon Favreau, but it's a different Jon Favreau.
But I guess I'm going off of like, watching like Iron Man and actually seeing some of his older films before he just started doing like the superhero stuff. I mean, I like Jon Favreau. He really, he can at least really get the performance out of someone and really showcase those moments where like the characters have something to fight for or whatnot. And I know there's a lot of movies he's directed. I really like Iron Man, especially for like the first movie kind of kickstarting the MCU and introducing us to Iron Man and Robert Downey Jr. So I like it, and he is definitely, he's taken on a lot of big projects. So I think he can take on something like Batman. Although I would like to see him have more of like that first Iron Man feel, where it's not just like littered in a lot of CG and like these situations where it's just like out there. But I think he does a good job of like translating the character and giving us these scenes and these moments, I think, to really like kind of feel for it. So yeah, I don't know. Jon Favreau.
Excellent.
Number 4, you might like this one. I want to see a Martin Scorsese freaking directed Batman movie. I think it'd be very, very intense. And but again, like that's what I love about Martin Scorsese is, and I've probably said this a bunch of times before, but I mean, they're like character studies. Like you really are living in the shoes of that character, and to be able to live in the shoes of Batman and really get to know, like to get to feel for, obviously his tragic background with his family. I almost want more of like that, more of the Bruce Wayne. Like I really want more of that person, because now you can see, the man under the mask and have more of more of I don't know, like weight to the character. And I think Martin Scorsese does so well, especially for like, having the audience kind of see through the eyes of that character. And I think he does so well with, is in all his films, he has, very, very intriguing characters and scenes. And that's why I like him so much, like Goodfellas, especially, because you're just in it. You're like, you're following these people, and there's a lot of things you get to know about the character. By the end of that film, you know so much about that character, or at least you have a good idea of what they, who they are. So Martin Scorsese for 4.
Love it. I love it.
Number 3, I got David Fincher. I really liked Zodiac, and he's done a bunch of other films. Like I think he did Social Network and all that. But I really liked Zodiac, and it was kind of like a crime, it was mystery and kind of stuff. And I like the approach to that kind of genre. So I consider David Fincher because of that, possibly. And I like that kind of, we're talking about Batman trying to be more of a detective. So I think it'd be really interesting to see that. And I think David Fincher could probably translate that very well, I think, in a scene. So, yeah.
Right on. Sure. I like it.
Number 2, this is more for visuals, I think. So, but also it could be a very simple kind of story. And I really liked George Miller and, his, I guess, recent continuation on the God, I can't blanking out on this movie.
Mad Max Fury Road.
Fury Road. Yeah, I liked it. That, especially that movie, for how, like, when you think about that movie, it's like so simple, like, like how it happens and how it plays out. And sometimes, like, that's kind of a movie I would want to ask for, is a very simple Batman story. And I guess going off the detective, like, what if it was just simply him just trying to solve this one crime throughout the movie? And then visually, I like the visual directing and the kind of the way you're kind of put in these situations, and it's almost like shocking and striking at the same time. So I don't know. I just feel like it would be very interesting to see, like, a version of Batman with that kind of art direction and also just kind of simplified storytelling. I guess that would be where I'm getting at. So yeah,
right on.
And then for number 1, I really liked Sam Raimi and his, Evil Dead, and of course this with superheroes, it's the Spider-Man franchise he was part of. And I don't know, like, it kind of goes like more comic booky, but I don't know. I just liked his version of, like, I like his Spider-Man. Like, the first film was really cool, and the second one was great. And it'd be interesting to kind of get a Batman like this. I know the appeal so far with Batman, and especially with Nolan bringing his trilogy, is kind of more grounded and, like, real and kind of dark Batman, right? Where I think Sam Raimi can really he could probably pull a lot of the tugs on the comic book, like, things, like, stuff that people like about Batman. I think he can really know the character and translate that, but also kind of bring it to this kind of, like, it's still like a superhero movie and, like, this kind of comic book feel, not in the MCU feel. Like, I think Sam Raimi could probably bring something even more to directing a Batman film. So that is my list.
Very good list, Shawnee. You took a lot of mine.
Damn it. I'm sorry.
No, not damn it. David Fincher was my number 1, but I'm gonna
interesting. I want to hear
clearing the deck. I'm clearing the deck.
Yeah.
So you took David Fincher, Sam Raimi, and George Miller were all on my list, but I'm clearing those. Very good list, by the way. Number 5. These aren't in any order. Okay. You've ruined me. These are in no order whatsoever. No, you're good. I'm going to go Mary Harron. She directed American Psycho.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that in preparation for Batman Begins and just being like, this is what I want. And we got a very sanitized Christian Bale performance, where he's so unhinged and so darkly fucking funny in American Psycho. That's, like, you can do Bruce Wayne funny. Like, if you ever read Kingdom Come, there are some laugh out loud moments in that book, and they're all from Bruce Wayne. He's not the butt of a joke. He's just sarcastic.
Yeah.
He's smarter than everyone else, and you can have a lot of fun with that. And I think she'd do a really good job with that. Number 4, I'm going to go Brian De Palma. De Palma. What's up?
I say, what has he directed?
Off the top of my head, the one I'm kind of going out to, what we talked about with the friends of the Criterion, 3 friends go Criterion. Blowout with John Travolta. He makes kind of more fun B pictures, but with an A picture work ethic or aesthetic, or and I think, Batman at its core, it's goofy. It's a fantasy. It's you can dress it up and make it adult, and as much as you want. It's still a guy dressing up in a costume. because he can't get over his parents' death. And it's still villains that dress like clowns and penguins. It's like, it's ridiculous. He has a cave under his house. He has his own supercar. Like, it's everyone is like, I just like this Batman because it's like grounded. It's like it could actually happen. No, it couldn't. No, we see what billionaires actually do. They try to become president and fuck everyone over. That's what billionaires do. This is Batman's the ultimate fantasy. I'd love to see what Ridley or with what Brian De Palma could kind of bring to that, and he could make a dark version of the 60s TV show. You know what I mean? That'd be very cool. I'm gonna go Sam Mendes for number 3 because he basically made a Batman movie with Skyfall.
Dude, actually,
and
that's a good one. Yeah.
That year, 2012, it was Skyfall and Dark Knight Rises, and I was so disappointed and left cold by Dark Knight Rises, and I just remember watching Skyfall being like, this is the Batman movie I wanted. I mean, it's basically a remake of Dark Knight with James Bond in place, and we can't get over that. But fuck, man, him and Roger Deakins, like, yes, I want to see that. I want to see that movie. I think it would be classy, it would be elegant, it would be beautiful, it'd be bold. I would love to see that. Number 2, Ridley Scott.
Ooh, Ridley Scott. Okay.
You see what he did with Blade Runner. I mean, his entire filmography. The man's been making movies for what, 50 years now. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see what he could do with a Batman movie.
That would be very interesting, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now there's a visionary.
Yeah.
Zack Snyder's visionary.
Really?
I think the person who drew the comic book panel originally is the visionary. But that's just me. I don't hate Zack Snyder. I know I'm becoming a very anti-Snyder. I don't hate the man. I just want him to stop making movies of my favorite things. And number 1, because I was going to do all living directors, but you screwed me, Shawnee. I'm going to dip into the death.
I'm going to dip in. All right.
I'm going to dip in. Orson Welles.
Ooh.
I would love to see an Orson Welles Batman movie, and / Carol Reed, because I think when I watched The Third Man, I'm like, this is what I want Gotham to look like in a Batman movie.
Okay.
With the cobblestone and just the moonlight and the beautiful black and white cinematography. I want that. But I would love to see Orson Welles in his prime with some lifts. He could play Batman.
He could play Batman.
He could play Batman. He's got that voice, like, the French champagne. I would love to see Orson Welles write, direct, star in a Batman movie.
Hey, I like that. That's super cool, man.
So, yeah.
I think the directors you named off, especially, all of them sound cool, man. I mean, that's all we hope. Like, we in our heads, we always have like probably versions of like, oh, what, Martin Scorsese directed this, like, how would it go, And you've seen if you've seen enough of their filmography, you can kind of like, oh, okay, this is probably the tone or like the look they're going to go for. And that's always what's great about directors. And I know there's a lot of different people behind the movies and the direction of the cinematography and the art and whatever, the set design. But it's the director that kind of pretty much steers the ship. Like, they're the ones really trying to get like this kind of performance out of people, and really kind of there's still that vision, I guess, behind that. And every director is different in their approach. I'm sure with every movie. And I'm stoked for this movie for Matt Reeves. Like, I think he can definitely pull off a good Batman film. And now I'm very curious to see how Matt Reeves is, how this his influence on the Batman series is going to be like. So even though we have our like fan list of directors, like I am pretty stoked to see what Matt Reeves can do with this Batman series.
I am too. And you know, the sad thing is, if you had asked me this question 10 years ago, Ben Affleck would have been on this list.
Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
totally get it, dude.
Oh well.
Oh,
All things must pass.
nice motto.
Hmm. Thank you, George.
Thank you. I guess we're gonna piggyback on the whole DC thing because I do have a DC list tonight.
Hit me with it.
We've done DC Batman villains, and I guess these guys can be counted towards this. But what are your top 5 DC villains?
Okay.
A lot of villains out there in the DC world.
A lot of villains out there. And you know, here's the thing. I love comic books. But I'm over the superhero comic. I don't read them anymore. I don't really get the same enjoyment or satisfaction from them anymore. I've been reading indie comics. And I'll talk about one a little later on.
Mm-hmm.
But it was when I was reading comics, it was really only Batman and Spider-Man. And it's because they have the best rogues galleries.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to go through. And I tried very hard not to get any Batman villains on my list. I did cheat a little bit.
Oh, here we go.
But yeah, so this was difficult. Number 5, I went Bizarro.
Bizarro.
He's the opposite Superman.
That's right.
And he says things in the opposite way. Instead of saving people, he hurts people. You know, it's bad, but it's funny and it's kind of campy. But it's I don't know. I always like when he shows up, and I was like reading that character. Kind of makes me laugh a little bit. Number 4, I'm gonna go Mercy Graves. She is the assistant / bodyguard to Lex Luthor, created by Bruce Timm and Paul Dini for the Superman Adventures cartoon animated series. That was kind of a sister series to Batman the Animated Series before Justice League. And so she was created in very much the same vein as Harley Quinn. But she's Luthor's bodyguard, and she hasn't received as much fandom or whatever as Harley Quinn. She's not that level, but I always liked when she showed up. She kicks ass. She's great. She's a good character.
Nice.
Number 3, I'm going to go Reverse Flash.
Oh, Reverse Flash. Okay.
Solely because his name is Eobard Thawne.
Yeah.
I can't think of a more villainous name than Eobard Thawne. Professor Eobard Thawne. What? What? Of course he's evil. Why did we hire him? Look at his resume. His name is Eobard Thawne.
What a name. What a name.
What a name. What a name, man. So yeah, Eobard Thawne is wild. And he completely just fucks over the Flash's world in like really just despicable kind of selfish ways, but unselfish ways too. Number 2, I'm going to go, he's not technically a Batman villain, but I did discover this character through Batman the Animated Series, and for some reason I've always had a soft spot in my heart for the Clock King.
Oh yeah.
Because I am a punctual being. I'm a very punctual being, and I've always liked the Clock King. I get it. You don't like when things are late. Fuck, man, I get it. I get how that could turn a person into a villain. So I'm here for it. I'm here for him. Number 1, I did pull from a Batman book, but I did try to go deep cut with it.
Okay.
This villain is Jacob Pack, Uncle Jake / Jack the Ripper.
Jack the Ripper.
Yes, if you've ever read the one shot.
No way. Okay.
Gotham by Gaslight. It takes place in 1880, 1890 something. And Bruce Wayne is returning to Gotham City after, training to become the Batman. And this is where we get the Gotham by Gaslight, the 1800s Batman garb. And it's so badass. And it's awesome.
Okay.
And spoilers, but this book is 30 years old, so sorry.
Sorry.
He travels back with his Uncle Jack or whatever. And this guy, the Jack the Ripper murders start happening in Gotham. And Batman literally has to be Bruce Wayne is wrongfully accused of being Jack the Ripper.
No. Oh,
So he, in his jail cell, he has to solve the crime and like be a detective and put it together. It's awesome.
Wow,
But yeah,
okay.
so Jack the Ripper is in a Batman book.
No. That's so awesome.
Yeah.
What the heck? I think you've told me about this before, but
it's very good.
When I think about it, it's like, I mean, especially Jack the Ripper, like hearing stories about Jack the Ripper, and like this movie's out with, just like such a, when you think like serial killers and like, it's like Jack the Ripper, that old.
They all stem from him and H.H. Holmes, really. Yeah.
Dude, that's great. I like that. I like that number one right there.
Sneaky.
A little sneaky.
It's real sneaky. Yeah.
Sneaky, dude.
I mean, I wanted to fit like ventriloquist in there, but like, I've talked about the ventriloquist. I've talked about all these characters. So I want to do something different. I'm curious to hear your list.
You're a lot better than mine because I only have such a knowledge of DC villains. So I'm gonna go 5 Captain Cold.
Ooh.
I'm more familiar. I've read a little bit about Captain Cold, but I'm more familiar, I guess, with the Flash TV version of him.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, part of Flash is like Rogues Gallery. I don't know. Maybe it's he's an intelligent and witty kind of person. Maybe that's what it is. And I wish I read more into his character, but from what I've seen and heard, I guess, he is that kind of villain and that's what I like about, I like those types of villains where, they're smart. Like they know what, they know what's up. They know how to plan their steps or whatever. And use kind of their intelligence against them, but also he's got a cool freezing gun or whatever, and and then I guess he's flipped sides a few times, like I believe so. Like that's a very interesting type of villain where you're not really sure if they only play to like their to their advantages, right? They would probably side with the good guys if they have something that they can get from it, or
right.
So, and in the show, they spoiler if you guys haven't seen the shows, but they eventually have Captain Cold join the League of Legends, Legends of Tomorrow. Legends of Tomorrow. Sorry, it's been a while, so I haven't really caught up with those shows, but yeah. So it was cool how they did that in the show. They kind of flipped his character a little bit, and there's a lot of good. He's one of the oldest characters. Like nemesis characters that Flash has in the show too, so it's great. They have like these good moments, but yeah, Captain Cold for 5.
Love it.
Number 4, I've got Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul. I've seen like so many different versions of this character, like even in the animated stuff. So it's maybe that's just probably why I gravitated towards this character. In the games, like the Arkham series, it's very interesting because it has like that supernatural kind of feel to it, and this man who is like has like the pretty much like the fountain of youth, in his lair or whatever, and yeah, a very interesting character. Kind of has this almost like reverence to the character, like this person's probably lived for like so long. So, and that I kind of relate it almost like to, I mean, he's not a vampire, but like Dracula, like he has.
Yeah, no, that's a really good comparison, actually. Yeah.
Very close. Like, this person who may see like, because of that living for so long, can see like the flaws in humankind or like other things. And
yeah,
I think again, kind of going back to the, like, he's lived probably for so long that he's probably, has so much knowledge of certain things happening, and maybe that addresses some of his decisions and things that happen. So I think that's very interesting for that kind of character and a villain. So yeah, Ra's al Ghul.
I love the reverence and respect he shows Batman, and I love how he calls him
that
detective.
Yes, I love that part of it too. Yeah. So number 3, I've got Deathstroke. Kind of a mercenary. I don't know. Like he just looks super cool.
Very
He looks
much.
like a crazy armored ninja. But I don't know. I think especially for Deathstroke, I think he's kind of grown in popularity with the kind of versions of him in the media and TV and movies, I guess. But
Big time, yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just the badass kind of like he's a mercenary. He kind of like is the dude for hire, but not. And I don't know. He seems very menacing, and you don't want to mess with Deathstroke for sure. So number 3, Deathstroke. Number 2, I did get the Reverse Flash in there as well.
Right on.
Again, still kind of familiar with the CW kind of shows, but I've seen like the Flashpoint animated, and he seems like a very integral character to Barry Allen and his story of becoming the Flash, and his, I guess, greatest nemesis in a way. Like, he is everything that the Flash isn't, Barry Allen. So I think that's really cool, and especially in the name Reverse Flash, like they really kind of nailed like, this is the perfect nemesis, a speedster who has like matched abilities to the Flash, who can like travel through dimensions and time and all this kind of stuff. So it's interesting to have that rivalry, but also like he has somewhat of an interconnection with Barry Allen's like personal life and his family and stuff like that. So I think that's that always makes for a good villain when you have that like personal connection to the main protagonist, and I think that's why I gravitate towards Reverse Flash. So
Love it.
And then my last one, I know I can't think of any other ones off the top of my head to switch out with this one, but I put the Joker because
it's the Joker.
He's like the ultimate
Joker.
DC villain. I mean,
he's the ultimate villain.
He's the ultimate villain. Yeah,
period.
Not just DC. And we've talked about the Joker many times on the show. And I wouldn't pick a certain version of it. I think just the Joker as the character, the embodiment of that. I think he's all sorts of different things. And yeah, I could talk for days probably about the Joker, but yeah, the Joker for number 1.
Who doesn't love the Joker? Let's be real.
Who doesn't? Creepy.
I love him. He's creepy and smart. And
yeah.
So funny and violent, and his soundtrack kicks fucking ass.
Yeah. The Joker.
Yeah.
The Joker, y'all.
The Joker, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. This is a good list, Shawnee.
Thank you. I mean, it makes me think I should dive more into some of the DC villains. I want to expand my, my horizons with the, kind of getting to know other characters. So
explore those villainous horizons, my friend.
Heck yeah.
Do that shit. Jonathan, do you have anything you'd like to share with our dear, sweet, lovely, imaginary audience this week?
Yeah, I do. I don't know if we talked about this off air, but I am starting to learn French. I am messing around with this app called Duolingo. And yeah, I mean, I hope for a day that we can travel again outside internationally, and Joey and I can again visit France and be in the culture out there. And I think we had a little disadvantage of the language barrier, but I don't know. I just I have some I've had this time on my hands, or at least some time, and I don't know. It's just like a perfect opportunity to be like, well, I'm sure there's apps out there that help you with like language learning and stuff, and it's a great app and gives you like these mini lessons. You don't have to, if you do pay for it, you get advanced lessons. So you only have like so many lessons you can do a day. But it's great. I have a notification set so that they kind of keep reminding me, hey, like get to your lesson today and try to learn some new words. And it's great because there's especially with the French, it's they have you either they have you listen to a phrase and you can click the words and it will give you like the English translation, and then it will do the audio too, so you can hear how it sounds. And then you would like, the little exercise would be like, now try to like translate this in English using these certain words. And so you can kind of get like the grammar and like how, especially like with the gender stuff, I started learning like gender and like how you're supposed to address people if you're a man or if you're a woman, like the word changes slightly.
Cool. Yeah.
So yeah, it's really cool, and there's like little exercises like that, and they're very simple. And I honestly believe if you can do this, like even if every day, if you just do like one lesson a day, you'll kind of it'll stick. Um, and that's what I've kind of been
Hit me
struggling
with
with.
some French.
Still practicing, but I mean the very simple one is like je m'appelle Sean, which is like my name is Sean or I'm Sean. I learned how to say like his name is, which is il, I think il, which is weird because it doesn't sound, the word isn't like connect, it's not like the English, it's not like he, it doesn't have an H, for us. So uh, il appelle Joey. I think he is Joey. I think that's how you say it. Yeah, but it's cool. Honestly, there's like like appel. So like appel is like my I am or my name is appel. I think is name. But there's actually there's all sorts of there's
Apple.
even there's all sorts of stuff for that. So but yeah, I think it's really cool, and it makes me weirdly enough like excited to learn a
That's
language.
very cool. No, that's beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I try to learn stuff every day if I can, but especially if it's something like detached from I do a lot of music stuff and all this kind of like it's good to have like something to learn that's just not in my lane, not usually in my lane. So yeah,
That's
I
awesome.
think it's really cool. And then my last thing to share is a shout out to a record company that I bought some records. I bought the Netflix Dark show. The composer Ben Frost released some music for the show, and there's 3 seasons of the show, and they actually got some vinyls printed for it.
Nice.
And a company called Invada, Invada Records in the UK, were the ones who were able to print those releases. And so I have like vinyl records of those 2, the first 2 seasons, I guess, of the music. And then the 3rd season, which released this year, I think they're about to print those, so I'm going to order those. But it's really cool.
Nice, dude.
If you check out the website, they have I think they're known for pressing a lot of like TV show soundtracks, especially like Netflix in particular. So I don't know what the legal deal they have with that company, but they're allowed to print these pressings for these shows. So they have like Black Mirror and like Stranger Things. They all have these really cool like designs on the prints and the vinyl, and I'm a huge fan of the Dark Show. I've said it a lot on the show, but I mean I'm gonna keep saying it. Like I fucking love that show. It's just like one of my favorite shows, and the music especially really got me. And I can listen to it on Spotify and streaming services, but there's just something again about like physically sitting there and like having the vinyl and putting it on there and sitting down and like listening to the music in general.
It's a different experience.
It's a different experience. So yeah, Invada Records in the UK, and
Cool.
yeah, it took like a few, there was like a shipping fee or whatever, but they have some pretty cool releases. So I'm actually going to check out the rest of their site and see if there's anything that piques my interest. So yeah,
Love
that's pretty
that.
much it this week, dude. Do you have anything to share this week?
Wonderful. I do. So I mentioned I got stopped into a really nice comic book shop in Eugene.
Oh, cool.
I'm blanking on the name of it. Something Pictures. Very cool. Maybe Words and Pictures or something like that. It was very cool. It was I have comic book shops are closing because of COVID. I mean, also because of Marvel and DC and Diamond, and some of their business practices. But so you want to go out and you want to if there's a comic book store open, you want to go out and support if you can. And I got a beautiful, wonderful book called "The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist" by Adrian Tameen. I hope I'm pronouncing his
I like
name
the
correctly,
title.
but
That's so cool.
it's autobiographical,
Okay.
and it looks like a Moleskine notebook.
Yeah, it does. That's cool.
And then you open it up, and the whole book, I don't know if you can see, has the it's the lined paper,
Oh, dude, that's
and he wrote
awesome.
this whole book, and it's just about him and his career, and it's a beautiful book. I laughed my ass off reading this thing. He goes in detail about every just embarrassing, mortifying experience, and you're right with him. I had such a great time with that book. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love indie comics.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
And so I can't recommend it enough. The Loneliness of the Long Distance Cartoonist by Adrian Tameen. Wonderful, 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 wonderful. First time I read like for pleasure in I don't know how long. So loved it.
That's
Loved
so
it.
cool, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, go support your comic book stores, record stores, all sorts, man. Like those, those people, that's what's so crazy. It's like a lot of those places like that are closing down, and it's great to support them and discover something new and interesting there. So that's super cool, man.
Very cool. Very cool. Jonathan.
Yes.
I'm Vengeance. One more question for you. Where can we find more of your work on the internet this week, my friend?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Shonday Music and on my website shondaymusic.net. Net, everyone. Hey.
Net, everyone. Hey.
Joey, where can we find you on the internet?
You can check me out on Twitter at Joey Prodi and on my website, joeyprodiscripts.com. You can check out the show at Top 5 Pod. It's TOPFIVE 5 POD on Instagram, on Twitter at gmail.com, and on YouTube. We're on Facebook at Top 5 Podcast and Apple Music, Google Play, and SoundCloud. So please give us a like, give us a listen, give us a follow, give us your love, and we will give you
vengeance in return.
Vengeance. I'm vengeance. I'm vengeance. I'm vengeance. I'm vengeance. Until next time, I'm Joey Prodi.
And I'm Shonday.
Thanks for listening. Vengeance.